Hello once again, listeners. I'm your host, Jason Becker, coming at you live once again today from the JFB studios in Ames, Iowa. This week's topic is something that goes over a lot of our heads as college students, but it's an important matter to take note of and comprehend. Today we're diving into the topic of stress and mental health, and how it can disrupt our lives and workmanship as college students. Everyone experiences stress, that is no surprise. However, issues with mental health may be more prevalent than what we may think in our lives and the lives of our peers. Based on a study done by the people at the NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, 1 in every 5 adults happen to struggle with the type of mental illness every year. That number might sound normal at first listen, but if you look around the room right now, that number might really shock you. On top of that, 1 in every 25 of you will have daily events impacted due to some of the struggles that revolve around poor mental health. Mental well-being and how it specifically affects our body and work habits as college students is a remarkably complex and confusing matter. There are a multitude of illnesses associated with the brain and how it functions. The afflictions I will cover in this podcast range from stress to something more serious and chemical, like autism. I will also cover how they affect us college students, as well as the ways that colleges can prevent the negative effects that some of us are impacted by. As college students, we are particularly susceptible to poor mental health and are surrounded by potential for causes of stress and poor self-care. Living on our own, away from our families, and venturing into adulthood is a stressful time for almost all of us. Atop of the social mecca that is college, many social issues and differences of ideas may cause us stress or make us feel uncomfortable sometimes. College is a melting pot for ideas, since it pulls in people from all around the world with different customs, ways of life, and ideas. Along with that, college is a very social time for all of us, and this can cause problems with relationships with peers, friends, and especially people that are a little more than friends. These social opportunities are a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, but they can tend to complicate college living and add a potential for a lot of harmful stress on us. Also, the workload that college bears is a big pill that all of us have to swallow. According to a poll done by Allocation.com, almost half of the college students that were polled believed that academic requirements were the biggest stressors in their college life. Academic requirements often tend to stem to more negative effects, such as immense pressure to do well, plus an abundance of time invested. This can result in a lack of sleep, which may branch into even more poor mental states, such as emotional breakdowns. These breakdowns can include thoughts such as giving up and dropping out due to fear of failing at the present task or as well as that in the future. As shown, stress directly affects us college students in many physical and also mental ways. Based off of another study done by the friendly folks at Allocation.com, these effects can be broken down into many groups, including poor management skills, concentration, memory problems, worry or anxiety, irritability, and even social withdrawal. For these effects listed, stress can be tied back to each and every one of them. For starters, stress can easily cause poor time management, especially for college schoolwork. This podcast is a notable example of it, and I'm sure some of you may be able to relate. Stress has been proven to create mental and physical barriers in students' learning, as well as assist the development of poor organizational skills and assets that are required to fulfill responsibilities. The next effects we will be looking into and relating to stress is concentration and memory problems. These effects give a good look at the physical harm that stress can cause us. Concentration and memory difficulties are due to prominent levels of stress in academic works and only seems to make it harder to complete for the student. These issues are found to lead to poor testing scores, weak responses, and overall poor grades. Another way stress is tied into negative issues can be seen within social issues that I've listed, specifically irritability and social withdrawal. Statistically, college students who have higher stress struggle with their relationship with peers, family, and friends. In doing so, recipients of excessive amounts of stress may find themselves cutting off valuable support networks, key to assisting them with their goals. As you can see, stress has ties to many effects that cause harm physically and mentally to us vulnerable college students. It is important to note that we have access to support, however. College may be a time where we are most susceptible to poor mental health, but it is also a time where we are surrounded by many support groups and university-provided services that are always available to assist us. Iowa State is a leading university with the services that they provide to assist students struggling with poor mental health. The Student Services Building is a great resource for anyone needing assistance with self-care or many other problems. ISU tends to do a great job at accommodating to students with disabilities of all kinds, and offers an abundance of options for assistance. For stress and mental illness, the university provides a 24/7 emergency hotline for any issue that a student may be going through, as well as walk-in appointments with a professional therapist at the ready for any student that may find it useful. On today's podcast, we have been given a special opportunity to compare Iowa State services with a smaller community college that may not have all of the resources that we have been granted with at ISU. Firstly, I would like to thank both of my friends that allowed me to interview them, but let's get into it. My first friend does not go to school here, but rather a small community college in Cedar Rapids. This friend also happens to have autism and is a full-time student. First, I asked him how stress affected him, and similar to everyone else that I asked, he replied with a popular answer basically saying that it was present most of the time and had a significant impact on his schoolwork. As the interview went on, I asked him more about the services that his college provided. He responded stating that his school was not fortunate enough to provide anything more than financial help through an educational plan. My friend was homeschooled before attending college, and he told me that it took some getting used to because of lack of understanding from professors and peers. On the other side of the spectrum, my friend from Iowa State shared her great experiences with the services provided by her university, and had nothing but great things to say about it. Even when asked if there was anything she could add or change about the services provided, she could not think of an answer. So, as we have composed, stress and mental health have quite a presence in our college lives, and if not properly understood and taken care of, it can be harmful and bring damaging effects with it. Stress is important to recognize and monitor, as it has ties with effects that physically and mentally affect how you go on about your day. However, there are many resources given to us on campus that are readily available for us to use. Alright, and that wraps things up. I hope I have raised some of your awareness to mental health and how stress affects us. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.